Hi, and welcome to the SG Child Show today. I am so excited to bring you my new friend that we have just been laughing already this morning. This is going to be such a great conversation. And listeners and viewers, I know you're going to enjoy it. You're going to get so much value out of the resources we're going to share. And just as always, please reach out if you have any questions, if you want to be a guest, invite a guest, have a topic you want me to talk about. So don't forget to reach out. You could find me on all my social medias, and this will come out in between the weeks of the summit. So don't forget to go to streamable.live. That's where you can find the 1 in 31 Autism Connection, if I can say my own summit name, Autism 1 in 31 Connection Autism Summit. That's because I was backwardsing it. So please come and join us. You can register. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can just show up and watch it. It'll be streaming live on all my social medias and on the website itself. Oh my gosh, it's going to be the most amazing event. 86 speakers, 20 live panels, pre-recorded sessions, and even spotlights from our amazing friends, our non-speaking communicators like Elizabeth Bonker. She will be our spotlight speaker. So please come and join us. Thank you so much, Amy, for letting me get all of that out. It's so nice to have you here today.
Oh, thank you. And the summit sounds fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow, it's so incredible. And, you know, we have incredible sponsors that came forward to support. They know that I'm just working, you know, every day, just straight from my heart at this computer, just putting out all of the things I can. And I really appreciate and I'm so grateful for all of the support and the fact that, you know, we had 100 speaker signups within like a week and a half. I mean, that is like people running towards it, like literally in a sprint.
Very telling, right?
Yeah. Yes. And the buzz and the excitement and all of the energy around it. And, you know, this incredible thing happened. And it's kind of funny. It's just so telling of the name itself, the 1 in 31 connection. And I emailed everyone that was going to be a speaker. And within that first couple of days, all of a sudden there were, and I didn't do like a blind carbon copy. I just emailed everyone. Call it my bad email habits. But, you know, everyone started replying all and introducing themselves. And all of a sudden it became this beautiful, like opening, introductory kind of networking thread of emails of all of the panelists and speakers introducing and getting to know one another. I couldn't believe it. My heart was already like, this is it. This is exactly what I want. This is why I'm doing this. We could have just stopped at the email thread. No, just joking. But yeah, I was just so, it made me a little cry. So heartwarming to see that. And everybody wants to be seen and heard and known and, you know, valued and belong. And I really think that there is like a turn in our society or an opportunity, if you will, for it's opening up and it's being accessible, and it's easier now than ever to be a part of those things. Just like today, you know, having you here.
Yes. Well, and I think that's such a testament to, I mean, not just your energy, but the opportunity that you're providing, you know, the signups alone, but then the fact that everyone felt so comfortable to just reply all and share. And right? Like, I think
that so happy. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, definitely that's the common thread I see personally within all of the work that you do. And,
you
really diving into a lot of your episodes and your podcast. That's how I feel. That's why I'm standing here today, because of exactly that kind of, I don't know, just the environment that you create, the space that you create for others.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I appreciate that so much. And for me, it's like, I always think of it and kind of joke that I'd like to build playgrounds for people to come. Like, I'm making my own parties, right? I'm having my own online parties here. Like, it's kind of selfish if you ask me. No, but what it's so truly incredible. And even last year, there was just, I don't know why it always comes back to my mind, just because I guess the moment that it happened, I saw it physically and it was like, wow, it was an AI and innovation panel. And we had some pretty big speakers that were talking about their products or the companies they worked for. And then two of them said, oh my gosh, we should see what we could do together. And in that moment, it was just like fireworks and all of this stuff. And I was like, wow, how many lives could we change right here with just this one connection of these two huge companies coming together? Like, I had no intentions of that. Like, that wasn't my purpose, but wow. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's so beautiful. And I think those little moments, even, as an entrepreneur myself, we don't always expect them. And we're working often so hard to put ourselves in places and positions and environments where we can expand, but then it's actually like in those moments where you don't expect it, when you're being your most authentic self, you're not even thinking about it. And then it's something like that happens, right? Like, I think that's magic. I love it.
I love it. Oh, Amy, thanks for being here. I am here with Amy Jones today. Let us start this podcast the right way. Please introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about you, and we'll get into this great conversation.
Yeah, I am a functional nutritionist and a ADHD life coach. I also taught high school visual art, as we do as an ADHDer. We were doing all kinds of different things for 20 years. And I think, why I'm standing here in front of you is because I spent the majority of my life struggling with anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder. Depression was labeled on that. BPD was slapped on that, whole bunch of stuff, right? Everything except for ADHD throughout my entire life. At one point, I was even told I was medication resistant. And I went through some very intensive, alternative treatments that were not helpful. But nobody was asking about ADHD or even thinking about it. And I wasn't either at that point. Yeah. And the only reason I started to think about it was because my youngest son was diagnosed at 6 years old. And I was like, oh, this looks familiar and interesting. And that's where I really started to push, right? And I had to push. I just had to advocate for myself like I've never had to advocate before. And as soon as that, and it wasn't so much about the diagnosis, it's about what the diagnosis would allow me to learn about myself and learn about my brain. And it literally like rewrote my entire life story. And, I went through some grief in terms of like what could have been, but I was like, what doesn't matter? What could have been? Like, this is amazing now. Here we go, Yeah. And so I think what it gave me the most was I just always felt like there was something wrong with me. I was the problem. Why couldn't I just, suck it up or whatever, right? But there was a very good reason, many good reasons for that. So when my youngest was diagnosed, the pandemic hit. Oh my gosh, the whole thing was just, how everybody knows how that felt. And I think it gave me that time to pause and decide whether or not I wanted to keep going in this direction based on, this new information about how my brain functions. And that's when I decided to take a leap, and I went back to school for holistic nutrition and then added another certification for functional nutrition on top of that, which is sort of adding in sort of like testing and other things. And I started my business and then really focusing in and honing in on ADHD and neurodivergence. And nothing worked. And I'd have clients and they'd be like, yep, this is all great, amazing. And then I would literally work with them 2-3 sessions and I'd never see them again. And I kept reaching out like, what's going on? Talk to me here. And I realized there's this huge piece that I'm missing with neurodivergence and ADHD, just any sort of neurotype in this area, because there's a behavior piece. There's like, I can't do it. I know, but I just don't know how to do it. And I'm ashamed. And I don't there was all of that. I was like, whoa, wow, clearly I need to go back to school again and my ADHD life coaching certification. And I'm actually, it's amazing, like what it's opened up, I think, for my clients and for me and for my children.
Ah,
And I'm always thinking about thinking, that metacognition thing. And I'm going back to school to do my master's in neuroscience starting in September.
love
Again,
that.
part-time within all of this. I don't know how, but I
Because you
think
have
that's
to.
where, yeah, you have
Yeah.
to. I just have to know as much as I can know in order to support others. Like that's kind of my
Mhm.
MO. And the behavior thing is, all the whole thing. That's really the work that I do now. And my teaching experience, really, I didn't realize how much it lends itself to all of
Mm.
this. And so when I think about, not being diagnosed majority of my life, I'm like, but it allowed me to do something that really supports what I do now, which is where I was meant to be all this time, right? It's amazing how life
It is.
works like that, right?
Oh boy, serendipitous. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. And
Mhm.
I felt the same way, like the isolation, the not belonging, the always feeling like I have these little ears. And I always felt like, oh, that's why I'm different. People just look at me and I'm different. And that's why I feel so different from them. But, I kind of make the joke that I could open my own store with the amount of drama queen keychains, t-shirts, and other items I got as presents throughout my life. Thank you very much, family, for, you know, just always, taking it to the extreme. And it really plays a role in your self-esteem, in your self-assurance of yourself, just all the self things. Thank you. And you know, I think that I am now, maybe it's because I just turned 50 and I'm just not afraid to say those things anymore, or who hears it or whatever, because it was my experience. And the people who don't like hearing it, that's too bad, I guess, is like, I'm not being ungraceful to them in any way. I'm just talking about my own experience, and their lack of knowledge during that time isn't a fault of anyone's. It was the time, the era, all of those things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, maybe we would have better resources for ourselves back then. But it also lent us an experience to force our way through these uncomfortable things, through the employment that was hard sometimes. Being, I don't know, I really struggled with leadership, or maybe like that role of, I couldn't say no. And so they would always say, you can never be a manager. You could never, and it's like, oh, what is wrong? Why can't I get to that part of me? Like, what is that, stopping that? It was the fight or flight. And it was the not understanding that the maybe narcissist behavior that I had grown so accustomed to reacting to and behaving by actually became a part of myself, even though that the person wasn't even around me anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I think that plays a role in now being like digging through, kind of like you said, grieving the, oh, what I could have been, I could have had, I could have this. And then really recognizing, wow, now I have these superpowers and I have these strengths and skills that other people look at me and say, how do you do this? And I'm just like, it's Tuesday. What do you mean? It's just what I do on Tuesday.
I think we said this like just before we hit record. I think I said that exact thing to you. It's so funny.
It's just Tuesday. Yeah. But I also am like, the fact that I can now have that perception to overlay over my relationship with my husband, my kids, my parents, in a way that maybe they're never going to understand. They're never going to accept. They're never going to listen to this podcast. So it's okay. And, they've are still, in the mindset that I'm sure many, many older generations are, in that it shouldn't be talked about. It should be, you put on a good face when you are out there. No stimming, no behaving badly, even though you're behaving like a human. None of that. So then being able to be free, if you will, just in my own self and clicking on my pen or whatever I need to do, nobody has that option to tell me not to do it anymore. So it's this like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's not because I have little ears. Amy likes me because I am, because I'm very similar to her more than anything, I think. So
yeah. Oh, I love that. And I like the idea, like being free. Right. And I think what popped into head is my own son, my youngest, who was the original diagnosis of ADHD in our family, but then also autism level 1 eventually. So a couple of years later. And I think that's what I feel all the time is I want him to feel that same level of freedom. And I know that's not the same because I, didn't have it's freedom to me because now I understand, and I spent so much time not understanding. But I want him to have that license or I don't know. And it's so hard for them, right? At he's 10.
Yes.
They're where, how, I think that's where, to me, it just feels like I'm on fire. Like I can't, this is amazing. And now I understand. And when I hit a roadblock or I hit something that's difficult, I'm like, okay, what is it here? What's happening exactly here? How do I break this down? How do I figure out how to accommodate or support this? And, and for him, he is very open about all of it, but the shame is still there. And, just the support that I think we have to give as parents also to support that is, gosh, it takes a lot out of me too, to help them feel that same feeling. Like this is just a neurotype here, not just, but it is this neurotype. And there's so many, like I'm almost, grieving the loss of, like you said, our own parents or whoever else, just never fully being able to understand. And it's hard, but that it gives me freedom when I look at that. And my son can't understand that, because he's not yet.
Exactly. Not yet. Just hasn't experienced enough, but he may be able to. And that's a hopeful thing. That I love hope. I think that's a great thing to look at. And, that's so interesting. And I think we have kind of this opportunity. I have a stepdaughter who's in her 20s and moved out and has a family, and we're not in touch or anything. And so I have this like lacking. So once again, we have this lack, and then we have this perception differently because we have it and we have to deal with that. And your kiddo doesn't have that, and neither does mine. And my youngest, when she was little, I would always say to her, you don't love anybody more than yourself. You don't love me, your dad, your grandma, nobody. You love you more than yourself every day of your whole life. That's it. No other, nothing more. And so, I mean, I didn't know who that could create, what that could do for a person. I just know I didn't have it. And I wanted her to have that opportunity to feel that way her whole life, not just figure it out in her 30s or your 40s, like after you've lived practically like this entire lifetime of things. But I wanted her to really just always have that value within herself, to never question it. And not that she never would. That's not a true statement, but just that she'd have that strength and that like ideal that I would always put in her mind, that she always came first. And I admire her more than anyone in the world. I think I'm closer to her than anyone right now. She's 14, and we're in just like this really close, amazing relationship. And oh man, I wouldn't have it any other way. And for her she also got her diagnosis at 8, ADHD, autism, dyslexia. And I think that it was because her brother is 2 years older than her, is, profoundly autistic. For her, it was more like, okay, this is who I am. This is what this is my things, kind of a thing. And it was never something she questioned or didn't like about herself, or now the dyslexia. Yes, those things reared their ugly challenges several times. And we had some hard times through that. But as far as like, I think when her dad and I both understood that we were, our identification of ADHD, if you will, she saw that we were like, yes, kind of like a thing, and we were like, congratulations, welcome to our team, kind of a thing. And so it was more of a, we're all, and I was the last one to find out. So I would always be like, well, what if I'm not? Like, what if I don't belong still? What if you all have this common thread and I still don't? But I did. So, right? Gosh, crybaby. And it's just so incredible though, like how that type of thing can bring people closer together in that family unit. And I think that, celebrating yourself, I think you couldn't do or be a better example for him doing that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think I just thought about that. I love that, and I've heard you speak about your daughter too, in your relationship as well in your podcast. And I just think it's like, gosh, I hope that's my hope for the future, something similar to that. But even with my oldest, and I think we've struggled because, when there's two kids and one, and I know this very well, but, there's one who seems to get not necessarily all the attention, but maybe more support or accommodation than the other. And my oldest also is, neurodivergent as well. He's in the SPD realm. I do think there is just some sort of ADHD in there, but in terms of like something different. It's not about the hyperactivity for sure.
Yeah.
But there's something going, and like, and that's where we are always talking about this, is this neurotype and this, like, this scale and where we are at on that, and how everyone's brain is on that together.
Right. It's a human experience.
Yeah. And so, explaining it to him, he pushes back a lot. He's, I think, 11 going on 18, I think.
Of course. 11 teen. Yeah. Get it. I get it.
Yeah. But like, I think we had sort of we were on holiday last week, and I think we had a bit of a breakthrough, and I was like, like, I'm your person here. Like, this is, this to me looks like what might be happening. And maybe, can you tell me if that's what might be happening, and how can I support you? And we just had such a great conversation, and we haven't really had a chance to do that because I'm always dealing with the other one. And it gave us that beautiful time. And he was like, Mama, I didn't know that we could talk like this. And I was just like, oh my God, but that's amazing, right? Like we just keep.
Now you can. Yeah. Now you're there. Like that is, now it's been set up. Now you can, make some special time or whatever, go, just grab his hand and go out of the house for a minute, take him behind, let's have a little chat for a second, make it feel really like special and honored. And no, I agree. And it's tricky when, I don't think my son would, he's the cognizance of expectations isn't there, other than he needs his chips and his water and his internet working, but the expectations of people, that was interesting. There was I love the show Autism Live. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. I love it. I love Shannon, and I are great friends. I love her dearly. And she was having a show about, darn it, now I'm going to forget how to say it. It's where you are thinking about how somebody else might be engaging in like your conversation. So considering others basically is the bottom line. And she was saying that if your child, it can show that they can consider others, then that is like a life skill that can be grown upon and learned and added to. And I always kind of thought, and I guess that's a horrible thing to say. Sorry, DJ. Presume confidence here, Sarah. Just that he maybe didn't have that ability to have that kind of liked reciprocative awareness of one another. And something happened the other day, and I can't remember if it was like I said ouch or I sneezed or something, and he yelled, "Are you okay, Mom?" And I went, "Oh my gosh." He just thought of me. He thought, is my mom okay? Did something happen to my mom? Like, and it was in that moment that I thought, oh, yes, this is that skill she was talking about. This is that thing I doubted that, and I just needed to see it in an actual, like, tangible way so that I understood.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's so much there. Oh my, we could go off on a whole other tangent right now.
And it is so much. And nobody, somebody like you can understand how much that really is. But I could tell my neighbor and they wouldn't, oh, good for you, right? It wouldn't mean anything.
Like they're kind of looking like, huh? That's and like, no, you don't understand. Like,
experience behind it and the real like passion and fulfillment that came out of that tiny experience. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, and I told him I was proud of him. I went and I was like, do you know what you just did? Like you're showing empathy. You heard Mom say, you said, Mom, are you okay? Like, I'm so proud of you. That's so great, DJ. And I think that he's unaware that that's a thing or he needs. So I think that reminding him and kind of trying to teach in those moments, it's so hard to know what to teach and how to teach, like inside core value or like feelings about others. Oh my gosh. It seems impossible some days.
Yeah. But I think you like
a lot.
That, that praise, that reinforcement, that, that action or that whatever happened for him in that moment, that's going to be the rewiring too, right? That neuroplasticity piece. So now he's associating this with your wonderful reaction and love. And that's just going to keep going, right? He's just going to feel that again and he can start to recognize it. Like, that's wonderful that, there's so many of us that don't, and I'm very guilty of this with my own children, is that I don't, acknowledge or name things enough, even though I know, like, I'm much like you in that sense. I know how important that is. And I think it's hard we're so busy to be able to do that all the time, but it's so unbelievably like biologically altering in terms of our brain, right? It actually makes a huge difference in terms of how we grow, right? Every day, and how our kids learn about how their brain works. Also, that's huge. That's beautiful.
And it really is. It gives them, especially maybe not DJ yet, and maybe someday in his life, but Anna definitely now has that self-advocacy skill. She knows like what I want her to stick up for herself about, and where she's in those environments where she's safe or she still needs me. That's okay too. Even though your kids are learning self-advocacy, they don't have to be put on blast, put on spot, made to do it. Like, that is just as damaging as, a lot of other notions. But I think that just being available, telling them like, yeah, you're okay, you can do this, is great. But also if they have pushback, no, I can't do this. Like, okay, well, what would make it easier for you to do it? Maybe there's some options you could give first, and then, okay, well, let me see if I can help and jump in there and then do it. And it's tricky, just like buying things at the grocery store. I mean, just it was the trickiest thing to start to teach my little introvert to, it's okay. Like, you don't need to stand behind me in line. You can stand in front and ask for what you need, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Those are some skills that they just don't tell you you're going to need to teach. There's no parent rule book out there, folks. So, find all these wonderful pieces you can and just try them out as much as you can.
Yeah. 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 That's beautiful. And the advocacy thing, I think, is, that's like a beast, definitely for our family as well. And avoidance, right? And I think a lot of us do that even as adults without even realizing. But I think the language that you're giving them and how the support is showing up in this really positive way is incredible. I think they're very lucky to have you, Sarah.
Thank you. I felt so lucky to have them. I felt like, an only child of divorced parents, and I was very just like lonely and never really felt belonged to or about or anything. And so to kind of have this, I don't even remember this is gonna sound so, I don't remember the moment where I felt whole and not broken anymore. Like, I don't even know when that, like, I couldn't even tell you. It's been decades now, at least 2 decades. And it's so beautiful. I know that I don't take it for granted. I think that that's a huge part of it, is having that contrast, right? Once again, we have lack, then we can appreciate the other side of it. But what if you are supposed to come into this world and not have lack and be given what you need and be supported? Like, will you still not have those contrasting abilities? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong, Amy. Right? Who knows? We never know. Like, it's just like, it's a strange, it's like this strange gift, right? We have it. It's a double-edged sword, and we can definitely like make things better. But all at the same time, what if there's never any lack? Like, will that be a problem? Like, will that come to face something in the future and be an ugly head that we also have to face? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I highly doubt you're doing anything all wrong, let me tell you.
I know my husband are always like, we didn't know. They could tell us one day we hated this all.
I know.
I doubt it.
I know. I think about that all the time too. Yeah. And that's a hard one, because we're doing, like, the work that you're doing, who are you're supporting, and every single day of your life is, gosh, you're doing such amazing work. And I think that's where I think we're just going to have to hold on to that, both of us, because right now, like 20 years from now, it might be absolutely like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe, but we don't know. And this is the path, right? This is still way better than what we were dealt early on in our lives, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. But I think, you're, I don't think you have to worry.
And we all do. I think we all, as parents, hope that we are doing right for our kids, that, and I think that one big, huge lesson I learned through raising my stepdaughter and then having the opportunity to, raise my kids in a decade later, so quite a bit of a different maturity level, was that preparing them for independence looks like making them independent before you prepare them for independence. That's confusing. That can be kind of scary. But that's what we want. We want our kids to leave the house someday, to find their family, to make their own, to have their own careers. We have to do that by teaching them to leave, to get out, to be independent. It's the most conflicting thing ever. But I think that this time around, I'm really seeing the growth that it has in this individual to say, yeah, these are the things, like, here's we haven't done it yet, but I have considered, like, here's a debit card for this summer. You'll budget this. This is how much you'll get a week or whatever. Like, when you're done, that's it. Like, you're going to need to understand how to start budgeting it. Nobody ever did that with me. They just
me neither.
in the world, and you had to figure it out on your own. What the heck? So I think that practicing now is just the best thing I could possibly do. And, I think that some maybe my own parents would say is she's too young. She's too young for this, and this. And I'm saying, no, absolutely not. This is the exact time that we're doing this, because this is where her maturity is. This is where her level of intelligence and her, ready for this part of life. That's what we're doing. Like I can't go off of these old patterns and systems that didn't work for me, didn't work for my oldest stepdaughter. I won't do it again. Like, I'm not going to be what do they say, repeating the same patterns, insanity. So no, we're not going to do that. We're going to be trying new things and finding new ways and getting like new results, because
and I think that's such a true testament to your relationship with your daughter in that sense too, and how well you know her and where she's at. And also like this wonderful opportunity every time, I notice, especially in my oldest right now, I'm thinking the same way, like really pushing the independence piece, not allowing, but offering more opportunity for freedom and for responsibility and for natural consequences when things don't go the way that we want them to go or he wants them to go. But he lights up when he gets those opportunities, even though they're hard. And I think this is what I hear too, you talking about your daughter, but we're still here. Like, we're going to walk you through. We're not going to just throw you in the deep end. We're here. And then let's look at, especially for someone with ADHD, like we're going to support you, and let's figure out what's hard about this, because I didn't, thinking about the debit card thing, especially with managing money and ADHD, we know that that's not necessarily easy all the time.
No.
How does that look differently for my child? And versus, what my experience was, and how do we build something different that works for them, right? Their own unique brain in this situation, whatever it might be, debit card or whatever else, right? And I think that's what's so beautiful about that too, is we get that honor, I feel like, to be able to be there and support from a different lens. I think that's a big piece too, that I keep just thinking about as you're speaking, because we're thinking differently about thinking differently in terms of whatever we're counting, right? I think that's, I just keep feeling that.
We kind of have like a head up in it, like a little bit of a head start, or a secret tip, if you will, or something.
Yeah.
I love that. Gosh. Tell us about your business, where we can find you online, website, all of that stuff.
Yeah. So I think, in terms of what I do and how I would describe it to people, definitely, there's a lot of people who, I say I'm a functional nutritionist. Everybody just wants to run in the other direction because nobody really understands what that even means. Like, are you just going to make me eat kale 24/7? And I'm just like, no, this is not what it's about. And especially in this context, it's really about, in terms of the nutrition piece, I look a lot for nutrient imbalances, especially those that are quite, more often than not, show signs for most neurodivergence. So there's lots of things like B vitamins, because they play a huge role in energy production, which ours is kind of all over the place, right? And we can deplete it really quickly depending on what the task is. And so kind of with an eye to some of these things, looking at meal patterns. So how often are you eating and when, and where might your blood sugar be crashing and contributing to, emotional dysregulation, plus a million other things, sort of looking at stabilizing a lot of that. And then, but also really the real work here, and this is this behavior, cognition piece, is building these systems to support your daily life. So, just making sure we can eat regularly. What is standing in the way of that? Especially if you are a parent, or especially if you have a child who might be a really picky eater, or we're exhausted and we're running around trying to take everybody else. And then you're like, wait a second, I haven't eaten for 8 hours. Like, what is happening here? So really looking at that, why is this happening? From that coaching perspective, what's hard when you walk into the kitchen and it's, 6 p.m. and you're exhausted from a full workday? we know that you're exhausted already. Your capacity, you don't have anything left. So and so that's often when we pick up the phone and call takeout, and that's okay. And we actually build takeout into our system together because it's a wonderful thing, especially when we know that there's a day that's going to be hard, or maybe for our child. And we can build in something like that in order to support us and support our nervous system that way. But it's really about like turning meal planning, whatever that is. I feel like it's a swear word or swear phrase or something. Like I hate it because it's not necessarily about planning. It's about, I think, awareness of where your capacity is at in whatever moment it might be, or throughout the day, and where those fluctuations are, and then building a system for your absolute worst days. And that's what I do. I'm like, nobody wants to talk to me because I'm like, well, tell me what the worst day. I want to know the worst day and what happened. And and especially with ADHD, we're like, oh, the judgment and the shame. And I'm like, no, we're pulling all of that away. These are the reasons why you're feeling like this. Shame is coming up because of this, but this is what's actually happening in the moment, like physiologically. And then how do we actually tackle building something that doesn't feel hard? A lot of it has to do with externalizing, getting it out of our head. So sometimes even just writing down your top 3 meals that most people will like, because that's, if you have a family, there's no way even one thing, but whatever. You write them down, you stick them on your fridge, getting them out of your head. So you just took one more decision, or you just took the weight off of your working memory in that moment, because you don't have to think it up. You don't have to retrieve it, right? It's there, it's in front of you. And then that goes on a default grocery list that we build, and you always have those ingredients, and we figure out how to do that. And then you can come home and everything just feels like, oh, it's a little easier, right? Yeah. And we build in the actual prep to it's, habit stacking. We attach it to something else you're already doing in the kitchen. If you're in there, let's wash something, or let's chop one thing, not 7, 1. Because we like to do 7 because we're like, woo, right. No, just do 1, right? Just do 1.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's in the fridge in a clear glass container at eye level when you open it, and then we can look and assemble rather than have to think. So it's like removing decisions, removing steps. That's huge. That's what we're doing here. And then we're removing, it's not even about necessarily the what of what you're eating, because we all know we need to eat more protein and blah, blah, blah. But this is what the struggle is, I think, for me, gosh, we're never perfect at what we support others with. And I still struggle with so many things, but these are the game changers, and really being creative and approaching, walking into that kitchen, might be dinner time, might be breakfast, whatever your trigger is, where you don't eat properly or something happens that you're not happy with, really approaching it from, but what's hard here and how do we make this easier, and going from there. It's so fun. Like this is 100% my wheelhouse. I love this. I get so excited about it because it's like the sky's the limit. We can design anything. Like there's no rules, right?
We're going to have another episode so we can just completely break down all of these things, because now we're going to be going into like an hour or something. And
okay, I'm sorry.
Say, no, but what about this? Here's my thing that my family just barely said to me. You never get anything different. You always get everything the same. Yeah. I'm like, come to the store then. Tell me what to get different. Like my brain can't pick up different things. I don't know what to get you. You've got to communicate with me. Yeah. It's so hard to do that because I just don't know. I literally feel like I'm just like, what do you call it? Those wheels that go around, for a water house or whatever. I'm just dumping the water, picking it up, dumping the water, picking it up. Here's the groceries, eat them. Here's the groceries, eat them. All right. And I'm never like getting exciting things. But no, I think that would be definitely like a big complaint in our family. Do you offer other ideas, or do you send people to any kind of sites and say, here's a list of other, cultural foods to choose from? I don't know, something like that. And what do you tell somebody that has that problem?
In terms of like variety, you mean?
Yeah.
First of all, I validate that exactly what you're doing is actually your nervous system protecting itself. So repetition, and that's actually one of the, this kind of, not a strategy, but it's kind of like a system that we use. Where can we repeat so that you actually take out decision making or too many steps? Like that repetition, especially for neurodivergence, like it gives us that safety and even for kids too. And that's where there, is a lot of pushback, especially with younger ones who are classified as picky eaters in that way, because it is their nervous system. It's their way of protecting that part of them. And food or meals might be really stressful. And so that's a way that they don't really understand what's going on. But that's could be what happened. It is happening with you, obviously, in that sense too. And then also, and I have this exact problem, honestly, Sarah, with my own kids. I'm like, but just tell me, like, what else? And I'm always like, what else do you see? What else do you see in terms of lunches? And they're bored of things. And one thing that I think has helped us too is we have like a Google system, like with all the speakers, and we just yell. I yell the grocery list. I yell to add this to the grocery list because I can't stop and write it down. So that's not a thing. So I just tell them, I'm like, you tell, like, I don't care if it shows up, I will go get it. You tell it. So you don't have to tell me. I don't care. And
I mean, yes.
Yeah. So something like that can really help for sure. And then, even in that moment where I'm offering them dinner, I'm putting something on the table before we have to run out the door and they're like, oh, and I'm like, what is it? Tell Google right now what you would prefer. Like grab that moment. And then it'll help that even if they can't do it the first couple of times, they'll eventually start to do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's those little things like really tuning in. And it's for them, like they're not sure either, right? They're not sure, but they just want something different, but they don't know what.
No, I love that. I think that that's a huge practice. I think I'm trying to tell my kiddos too, like always, like, tell me what you're thinking. Like, what are you thinking right now? Like, I need to know what's going on. Like, explain it all. And I think that I see that that's being practiced. And then some adults will be like, well, they shouldn't, talk back or they shouldn't. And it's like, no, this is their opportunity as a human to practice what they need to do in advocating and sticking up and protecting themselves. And that's what they're going to do. And that's what I've taught them to do. So deal with it.
Yeah. And that safety. Yeah. You've created that safety for them so that they know it's okay to say what's actually on their mind because they're safe no matter what. Right.
Yes. I mean, I wish I could have been able to do that. I still don't do it. I still don't do it. I still will people please and put myself last in situations where I think that they'll be better off being happier than I would fulfilled in whatever way. And that's not a great example or role that I should be fulfilling for them. So yeah, always work to do. Always work to do, folks. Always working. But this is wonderful. So wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think
we go online to finish what you were going to say. And
no. I was just going to say that. I think you asked me earlier to give you my contact information and I just fully did not. Sorry.
No, I love that you went into that. I am sorry not sorry, but like, I love our conversation. I want to have you back on so that we can really get into like all of the busy things that we didn't talk about today because we were busy talking about lifing things. But it's all wrapped into one when it comes down to it anyways. So, but please, I would love to have you back on and really like dive deep into those things.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find me at amyjonesnutrition.com. That's my website. I think Instagram is probably my bigger hub and you can reach out at any time there too with questions or whatever it might be. So it's just at Amy Jones Nutrition. Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Hopefully that's spelled right. Hi. At Amy Jones. Secretary skills working here. Okay. Wonderful. I love that. Yes, for everyone listening, that's amyjonesnutrition.com or on IG, go to Amy or at Amy Jones Nutrition. And please connect with her. She's incredible. She has amazing energy, just amazing energy. I'm so excited we made this connection. Like totally soul sisters, just from country to country. Like so it doesn't even, isn't it so interesting how you can be like how can you be so far away? I need you like as my neighbor so we can hang out.
I know, seriously, I thought that exact thing. And I just feel like it just felt like having a chat with such a good friend who knows all of the crap that I go through every day.
Right?
Like what a wonderful gift. And thank you, pandemic, for giving us this because
You set up online everything
before in that sense, like the same sort of like push to connect in this way with technology. It's such a gift. So yeah.
Thank you, pandemic.
I know, weird. Never thought
Closing words. No, just joking.
No.
My new friend Amy, folks. It's so good to have you here today. Oh man, what a great upcoming weekend. Summit is starting on Friday morning at 9 a.m. I can't even believe it. It's overwhelming and exciting. So I hope everyone has a chance to jump onto Streamable and check that out. But for our show today, Amy Jones Nutrition, please go visit her on Instagram and her website, amyjonesnutrition.com, and you can connect with her there. And we'll have her back on so we can have a deep dive into the actual work that she does. But for today, please enjoy this conversation as just getting to know her. And as always, I love to tell people, and it's funny, I didn't say this before, but sometimes when people are nervous or they haven't had a podcast, I always say, don't worry, at the end of this, we'll just be friends. And that's all you'll have done is just sat and talked with a friend the whole time. And so I think that, that clearly is the case. So
yes,
wonderful
definitely.
time this morning. Thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait to stay in touch.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for this opportunity and just to get a chance to do all of this with you. I think it's such an honor to me and
so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll be talking soon. And all of you listeners and viewers, thank you so much for your support. Have a great day.
Heart of the city, she's shining bright. Oh yeah, stories of love and courage all throughout the night. Her voice resonating, an anthem for all through the trials and the trials. She answers the call, a mother and a fighter, breaking barriers in stride. With love as her guide, she'll never hide. She's changing the world for you with a heart that's fierce strong, empathy's a melody. In our journey we all belong. Followers gather like stars in the night. So bright, 44,000 voices sharing in the light. She stands for family, advocates for more. A movement of compassion, ways will soar. Podcast together, a symphony of support. Creating life, changing rapport. She's changing the world for you with a heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody. In the journey we all belong. Through her eyes, a vision clear. Together we ride, shedding fears in every heart. She plants the seed of understanding and love dearly need. She's changing the world for you with a heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody. In a journey we all belong.
Empowering voices, meaningful resources, stronger connections. Be a part of it. This is the Neurodivergent Resource Podcast. Join us.